All right, singers, do you struggle with too much weight or heaviness as you sing higher, which ends up leaving you feeling strained and then your voice cracks? Or maybe you have a little bit of breathiness throughout your tone and you can't quite get enough connection, volume, and resonance in those lower notes. Perhaps you just have instability throughout your range. Maybe your larynx is just chasing the pitch and you only feel comfortable in the lower to mid part of your voice. Now, I've just described 3 different but very common voice issues that singers face. So if I described you in one of those, don't worry, you're not alone. And in the upcoming 3-part series, I'm going to address each of these voice issues, talk a little bit about why they happen and what causes them, and then I'm going to give you some practical exercises with the singing straw and then some vowels and consonants and affixes to help you improve and balance out your voice. If you're new here, my name is Whitney Nicole, and I'm a singer-songwriter, vocal coach, studio owner, and creator of The Singing Straw, which is a helpful tool that helps singers around the world develop healthier, stronger, and more balanced voices. And if that sounds like something you're into, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because we put out videos every week on just that. I'll also link below for more information on The Singing Straw. So let's dive in. We're gonna start with what I see most in my voice practice. That pulled, heavy, strained feeling that some singers get as they start to sing higher. This can often feel like your throat is squeezing or tight and you're about to crack, or it feels like it takes a lot of effort to make sound, but then that sound that's coming out isn't very vibrant or resonant. Now, this is common because as humans, we spend the majority of our time vocalizing in our speaking range. So even if you love to sing or you're a professional singer, you still spend more time talking in your day than you spend singing. And we talk mostly in that lower, chestier driven sound. We don't walk around talking like this all the time, right? We're more in our lower part of our range. And in this lower part of our range, there's a muscle called the thyroarytenoid muscle. We can abbreviate here and call it the TA muscle. And that muscle is more engaged. When that muscle is more engaged, it thickens the vocal folds, so you get that heavier, thicker sound, which is great for when we're speaking or singing in our lower range. However, as I've talked about in other videos, as we start to sing higher, our vocal folds need to stretch and move faster. And another muscle kicks in called the cricothyroid muscle, which helps with that tilt and stretch. So what happens when we start to feel that pulling sensation, that straining feeling, it means that TA muscle is hanging on too long. It's too powerful, and that CT muscle isn't quite strong enough to kick in and take over. And we really need that muscle to stretch. So this can lead to all kinds of problems, including tightness, cracking, straining, and even vocal injury. So if you're noticing this feeling in your voice, it is really important to start addressing it with exercises to balance out your voice as soon as you can. So grab a singing straw and let's sing. The key to balancing out a straining voice is to strengthen that upper register and that CT muscle, so that CT muscle can hang with the powerful TA muscle that you've already got super strong because you use it all the time when you're talking. So we are going to do some exercises that do just that, starting with sirens on the top with your straw. You guys know this one because I love it. This is just like a fire truck, woo, 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 but with your straw first, all right? So take your straw, whatever resistance level you need to be at. Again, I'm at a 3 millimeter, but you can do a 4, you can do a double, whatever feels good for your voice or wherever you're at. So, woo. So play around with this, right? You really want to stretch to the top part of your range, but you don't want to come all the way down because right now what we're doing is trying to strengthen that upper register. So just live up there. And turn it around a little bit, come up, down, and move around, down, up, all of that. Get really comfortable with that sensation. It likely feels different than when you're in your lower range. And now I want you to take that same siren, but I want you to put a vowel shape on it. And we're gonna pick an oo or an e, singer's choice, but add a W in the beginning to give you just a little bit of that semi-occlusion to kick you off, okay? Oo and e vowels are great because they help to reinforce that upper register and they really help with acoustics to kind of send you up there. They're not as likely to pull that weight like we're talking about. So if you've just done the straw on that siren, go ahead and take your choice. Woo, woo, wee, wee. So you're gonna alternate back and forth with the straw to that vowel shape, right? So woo, 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 because the straw really helps to remind you to tilt and engage that CT muscle. And then you move to the vowel, that's also going to help reinforce that as well. Woo, wee, right? And the more you get comfortable with that, the stronger that CT muscle is gonna get. Next, we're gonna take this downward octave arpeggio, but we're gonna give a hold at the top so that you start in that head voice or in that upper register feeling, okay? So it's gonna sound like this. Cool? So really find that sensation of that woo and that wee we just did in the siren and hang on to that and then bring it down. And we're gonna go up from here. Now, my lower voices, tenors, basses, baritones, you can be down the octave here. So starting on a middle C. Higher voices, you guys are on a C5 with me. Big breath. Now, if you have a vibrato that kicks in naturally, let it kick in. The vibrato is usually a sign that there's a nice relaxed sensation happening. So that's a good sign if you have it. Now, if you're noticing that you're really finding this intense and you're blowing a lot of air, try bringing back the volume a little bit, because again, with that back pressure, if we blow too much airflow, it can start to feel a little bit too intense, right? The more that you blow into it, the more you're gonna get back. That's how the back pressure works. So really just take that volume back, maybe go half, but make sure you're getting a nice deep breath as well. And I'm gonna take you even higher, guys. Really stretch up as far as you can go and drop out when you need to. I'm gonna go a little higher, especially for my lower voices and for my sopranos. No shame if you've dropped out though. Just join us on the way back down. That's it. Great, great. Couple more, guys. Keep feeling that upper register head voice sensation on the top. That CT driven sound, right? With lots of stretch, lots of ease. And two more. Last one. Now with that exercise, I really want you to be focusing on that upper register feeling. So don't allow yourself to pull or strain or carry too much weight. We really want to be starting from the top, that woo-woo feeling, and then coming down. Next up, we're going to build on that pattern. So we're going to come all the way down, then go back up and hold, and then come back down again. But again, starting in that C5 and then C4 for our lower voices, because again, we want to make sure that we start somewhere above where we've transitioned or close to that transition for my lower voices. So you're less likely to carry a ton of weight, okay? So this is gonna sound like this. Again, really focusing on that sensation of that head voice or that upper register. I'll go ahead and play for my lower voices. I'll play with you down here. Higher singers, sing with me. That's it. Now that we've added this back and forth, you might be more inclined to put some weight on the bottom. So really pay attention and try to lean into that higher part of your range. Again, think about it like this. The TA muscle that drives that lower sound, it's strong. It's already developed. You use it all the time, right? So it's that CT muscle and that sensation that needs to be strengthened. So that's where I want you to work on, really focusing on strengthening that and then keeping that lower voice or the lower notes a little bit lighter. That's it, stretching all the way up. And really leaning on the high side, right? A good tip as well is to think about your volume at a mid to high level on the high notes, but then when you come down to the low notes, bring it down just a little, like lower that volume so that it's helping you with that tendency to be too strong on the bottom. Keep it going. That's it. Vibrato if you've got it. Check in with your posture. Make sure you're sitting or standing nice and tall. And if it starts to get intense, you can move your neck around a little bit so you're not holding any other tension. One more, we'll turn it around. Again, only go as far as your voice wants to go. You are in your body, you are in charge. Takes time, and all of our voices have different range. And that's okay, so embrace it. We'll bring it down. Last 3. And the last one. Awesome. Now remember, with these exercises, you are focusing on strengthening that upper register and really giving power to that cricothyroid CT muscle that helps to tilt the larynx and stretch the vocal folds, which again is what we need for those high notes. So I want you to get so comfortable doing these exercises day after day. Add them to your regular routine, add them to your warm-up and your other workouts so that you can start to get more balance in your voice. Let me know down below if this video is helpful. I love hearing from you guys. And while you're there, if you enjoyed it, please hit a like and subscribe as well so that you know when upcoming videos drop. Speaking of which, stick around for next week because we've got part 2 coming your way. Thanks for singing with me.